The Honourable Member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Now, 50 years after establishing diplomatic relations with China, we must collectively, soberly, and urgently rethink our approach to the People's Republic of China. That's why today's motion is so critically important. The motion calls for the government within 30 days to make a decision on Canada's use of Huawei in our 5G network and to develop a robust plan to combat China's growing foreign operations in Canada and its increasing intimidation of Canadians who live here. Instead, China has emerged as one of the most powerful authoritarian states in history and a major challenger to the liberal world order. Oppression in China is intensifying. They have imposed drastic and far-reaching national security law in Hong Kong. They continue to exploit the people in Tibet. They have re-education camps where they are interning Uyghurs. And those are just a few of various numerous examples of oppression. Once upon a time, Canadians believed that foreign policy was something that we did on distant shores. We believed that because we're on this side of the Atlantic and protected and haven't really seen drastic or dramatic wars on our shores, that foreign policy was something that happened somewhere else, that we were not threatened here at home. However, that must fundamentally change, because the CCP looks to legitimize authoritarianism and seeks greater acceptance of that authoritarianism, and they are using means to achieve that end by undermining and eroding democracy right here at home. So what means exactly are they using? Well, we know about cyber espionage, where they're using social media to influence and to change the minds of our citizens. We see that the People's Liberation Army is hacking, and we see intellectual property theft from everything from private corporations to the National Research Council. We now are aware of Operation Fox Hunt, which is just a simplistic term for saying that Canadians of Chinese background and others are being intimidated and threatened by Chinese agents here in Canada. We know of the United Work Department, which brags about, in their training videos, about how they have been able to influence elections and find pro-Beijing candidates who are taking positions in our democracies. They're also using powerful economic means by expanding their economic imperialism, or what we call debt trap diplomacy, through the One Belt and Road Initiative, where they're making major strategic investments in critical infrastructure like ports and roads, airports, and gas and oil and gas industry assets. And then when countries can't pay, they are taking possession of those. Strategic assets allow them to bolster their economy, hold those countries' economies hostage, and ensure that they can get goods and people and potentially military assets anywhere in the world. They're also using Chinese companies that are in nations around the world, of which one is the center of the discussion today, Huawei. There is a national intelligence law that says that those companies are mandated to be able to provide intelligence and information to the Chinese government and act in the best interest of the Chinese government, even when they're on Canadian soil, and even if that means going around Canadian law to do it. That, Mr. Speaker, is frightening and is a threat not only to our national security, but to our rule of law, our democracy, and our social and economic security. Militarily, the Chinese government is expanding rapidly. We've seen one of the largest operations where they've partnered with Russia in recent memory. Over 300,000 troops and 36,000 tanks. They have considered themselves now a near Arctic state, putting in place a Chinese Arctic policy and targeting our Arctic here in Canada. We know that there are Chinese submarines, and we know that they have ambitions for the Northwest Passage.
Of nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. It's long been an ambition of Chinese naval planners to build a force of nuclear missile submarines. It now appears they may have made significant advances in China's undersea capabilities, and possibly in their ability to target the United States with nuclear warheads from beneath the waves. Satellite images and other evidence analysed by Reuters show a large increase in activity at the Yulin Naval Base on Hainan Island.
That have been tracked going and coming from Yulin. We also understand that there's been a great deal of effort to fortify that area in recent years, build secure facilities to keep missiles, to arm them with nuclear warheads. There are large submarine pens that are there.
Beijing says it has a no first use policy for its nuclear weapons, meaning it would only use them if it was fired upon first. So if its underground missile silos on land get taken out, it would have the ability to hit back, bolstering its defense. Ballistic missile submarines would allow